Good evening. On a warm, sunny afternoon, almost 4 decades ago, a stranger knocked at our house. My father opened the door, welcomed him in, and they began talking very excitedly. My baby sister and I, we were playing in the room next. Soon we were summoned, and the stranger looked at me, and he said to my dad, "She looks about the right age to get started." My baby sister was still very, very young. The stranger left the house, and my father very excitedly came to me and said, "Purnima, I have enrolled you for Kathakali classes." The stranger who left our house was the then principal of the International Center for Kathakali at New Delhi, Sri Sadanam Balakrishnan Ashan. As for me, I really had no idea what I was going in for. Soon our classes started. And I can tell you, as a child who was used to playing outside in Delhi during summers, this was torturous. I had 2-hour classes thrice a week, where all I had to do was do rhythm and dance, and that would be repeated over and over and over again. I would often run and try to hide from those classes, and I would make excuses like my dance kurta, my pajamas are not available, my notebooks are not there. But my mother would somehow try to pacify me and just get me into those classes. And so the classes continued. A few months later, I had my first performance or an initiation, and as you saw the Bharatanatyam dancer, it's called Arangetram. In Kathakali, it is called Purapad. Purapad in Malayalam means preparation. And to me, at that time, I did not know, but it was a lifetime of preparation for me. During the initiation performance, that's the first time you get an idea of the kind of makeup that goes on. And I can tell you, it's a rigorous 3.5 to 4 hour long session that allows you to put the makeup and the entire dress. But the initiation performance went well. Everybody applauded. It was fun. And I continued. I started enjoying male roles because they were more energetic and kind of shunned away my female roles. At that young age of 10, I would say, I probably had more exposure to stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata, all thanks to Kathakali. Art is all about pushing your boundaries. And at that very young age, I had to push a lot of boundaries. As you can see, some of these photographs are black and white from a very, very old era. But at the age of 10, to play Lord Ravana's mother, or at the age of 11, to play a seductress who goes to charm Lakshmana, her name is Shurpanaka, by the way, or play someone like Putana, who's actually a demoness who comes into Krishna's home to try and kill baby Krishna. Now, these were kind of roles fairly complicated, and to an 11-year-old, it was kind of out of whack. So I would try hard to do these performances, but I could not really understand the gravitas and the complexity that is required to deliver these roles. But I continued, and my dance performances continued. My parents at that very young age used to take us out to a lot of these performances. So at a very early age, my sister and I, we had a lot of opportunities to see very, very seasoned senior artists playing in Delhi. Also, one of the things that I did want to share was that because I was in Delhi, and the crowd is largely from North India, I was not very sure whether my South Indian, my Kerala heritage would be well appreciated. So I never really shared that I was a dancer. And also, I was wondering, what if I tell them I'm playing Lord Ayyappa's mother? I did not think any of my classmates would know who that was. And so dance was a very nice, well-kept secret for me. I grew up. I became a teenager, and I started looking, I guess, westward for inspiration. I started reading up a lot of novels. My music tastes moved from Led Zeppelin and Def Leppard and Pearl Jam and so on and so forth. Dance was slowly started to move behind and started becoming a little bit of a blur. It wasn't as if I was performing. I was definitely performing. Here's my sister and I in one of our performances. We do look alike, I think. She's my baby sister. But we continue to perform. But at the same time, I don't think my heart was really in it. I was kind of moving, growing up, exploring boundaries, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. I finished my studies, and then I got a job, which took me outside of Delhi. Youth is a great magical time to be, right? We all make new friends. We move to new cities, new places, new experiences. And I was experiencing all of that. And so slowly, dance moved into an oblivion. I started working, focusing on my career, traveling a lot, going outside, not only in India, but outside, countries outside. And soon dance was no longer existent in my life. It was probably 8 years, and I had not entered a stage, or not even set foot on a stage. It was around that time that my work brought me back to Delhi, and I noticed something very, very interesting. My younger sister, who till then was like a baby sister for me, had blossomed into this brilliant young artist. She actually did a play at the Parthenon, which was a Greek translation, which was a translation in Kathakali of a Greek play at the Parthenon, Greece. She was playing and sharing the stage with some of the most seasoned artists in Kerala. And she was performing really strong, heavy roles like Karna, or Arjuna, or Bhima, or Duryodhana, and so on. Wow. I did feel the pang. I did realize what I had missed. And so very sheepishly, I went back to her Guruji, Sri Evu Rajendran Pillai, and I asked him, can I come back to this art form? He told me that he would help me recover lost ground very quickly. And so I went back. And then after a few months, he announced that he wanted me to take on a solo role as my coming back performance at one of the leading festivals at Delhi. And guess what? The role was that of Putana, the role that I'd cringed when I used to do that as a child, because I just could not understand the gravity of that role. But this time it was really different. That 45 minutes, I owned the stage. I had no inhibitions about playing that demoness, who's trying to kill, and portraying that dilemma of having to kill an infant child. I think that was very exciting for me. I thought that was the time that the journey to discovering myself through Kathakali really began. Kathakali is a very, very exacting art. It requires you to be under makeup for many, many hours. In fact, I must share that this is not a solo art. Behind every performer, you not only have the makeup artist who does the makeup for you, or the chutti artist who does that little white ring that one can see on your cheeks, and then you have a whole bunch of folks who actually help you get ready. So it's an extremely, extremely patient art that forces you to be patient, to look inward, and to really understand and reflect deep within you the character that you want to portray. Soon after, I got many interesting chances to perform, and I did want to share one of such performance. This is, I'm performing Hanuman, who's one of the characters in Ramayana. The reason why this was so interesting is that this is one character in Kathakali that has the creative license to interact with the audience. So it was very interesting and a whole new level of body dynamics for me when I had to play this little, this monkey god, do all that stuff that monkeys do and elicit some laughter from the stage. And it was my absolute aha moment when people did laugh at some of the things that I did. It was absolute fun, to perform. But I've often seen, and having observed Kathakali at close quarters, I have seen the pain and the hardships that artists endure. And often I feel we're not given the due. I'll give you one example of which was recently in Bangalore, where we were going as part of there was an agenda and there was a performance, and we were going after a lady who was a film actress. Obviously, she got all the attention, and the cheers, and the claps, and the whistles, and so on. The next act was mine, and when I got onto the stage, I was absolutely shocked to see that 90% of the audience had gone. And the people who were there probably were family, friends who had come in to see us and a few others perform. And that pained me. If we don't encourage our own people to appreciate and understand the art forms that we have within our country, and I'm not just saying this for Kathakali, this applies for any art, then the hope for some of these arts to survive beyond the century, at least to me, looks very bleak. But hope is on the way. I do see a lot of young performers, not only in Kerala, but outside of Kerala, beyond the borders, actually looking at this art form very, very deeply and sincerely. It was a great pleasure for me to work with a few women artists, and I actually was very privileged to be part of this troupe where I had a role to play, and everybody who ever donned a performance was a woman. Interestingly, when I was talking to some of these girls, and they were young girls, mind you, some of them actually said they loved male roles because male roles were more energetic and they were more mean and they were more colorful. But I was just marveling at the fact that these young minds had the passion and the patience to go through this art and make it something that they could own. And that to me is very, very heartening as an amateur artist. Of course, art has helped me move in ways that I could not imagine. And I'll just give you another example. I mean, we all work, we all have very hectic lives. And this was when, not too far back, I was actually working as head of marketing for a department of an IT services firm, and a very senior promotion was coming up. Unfortunately, I didn't make that promotion, and I was a wreck because I thought this was so easy for me, and kept moaning and thinking about it and moping about it. But I had a performance soon after, and then I had no choice but to refocus myself and get into that dance. And I could say that once I finished the high of that dance, the fact that I did not make that promotion, it didn't matter much. I did go back and regain that promotion 9 months later, but had it not been for Kathakali, I think my rebound would have taken that much more time. It's interesting to see how Kathakali has anchored me in many, many different ways. But it's also interesting to share that Kathakali is not always about hard work and perseverance. Yes, it is all that, but there's also a lot of fun that happens behind the scenes. I must share the same troupe I talked about where I did the all-girls troupe. My makeup and performance was almost in sync. So just when my scene was about to happen, I was just about getting ready. And I literally had to run down the hallway to go up the stage. So can you imagine Tez, Duryodhana? I mean, you can see some of these characters. They were literally calling out to me from the backstage, telling me to come run fast. And I could see a lot of shocked reactions because a lot of people suddenly saw this huge character running and trying to make up to the stage in time. I've also had very other hilarious instances which I look back now and laugh, but at that time, I was extremely embarrassed. I remember playing this role of Sri Rama, and in this tale of two monkeys called Bali and Sugriv. And Sri Rama kills Bali at the behest of Sugriv because Bali was not doing something really nice to Sugriv. And so there lies Bali with the arrow that Sri Ram has shot. And at the end of the scene, Sri Ram is supposed to come in and bless Bali and remove the arrow. Now, the removal of arrow in Kathakali by the character has to be done using the two toes. So he has to look at, you have to take your feet, put your toes, and then remove the arrow from the lying Bali's heart. And I was just thinking, gosh, if I do that, I'll probably just topple down and fall off in front of the stage. So very gingerly and very ladylike, I finished my entire verse, and then I just bent down and just, pulled the arrow with my hand. I still remember the shocked reaction of the Bali who was lying, because obviously I kind of stole his thunder, and he didn't get enough time to lament. But I just pulled it. It was fast and easy. Game over. And of course, post the event, I did go and apologize, and he said, "Yeah, it's no problem. Happens." I mean, these kind of instances happen, and it's just fun. Over the years, it's been a great teacher to me. It's anchored me in many ways than one. The privilege that I share today and of being in front of you is solely because of my journey through Kathakali. It's helped me through thick and thin. It's helped me win new friends. It's helped me understand parts of me that I probably would not have had it not been for the dance. You've been a very wonderful audience for having joined me in sharing my journey in exploring Kathakali today. Thank you so much.